Hey, what's up, everybody? Navid is here. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur and creator of Virtual Summit Mastery. We help people just like you exponentially grow your email list, influence, and revenue. Today, I'm super excited to have Bastian Ernst aboard. He is the founder of Wild Audience. And for this session, we are going to talk about how to solve customer acquisition at profit and scale for high ticket businesses. So I guess this is a little bit on the advanced side, but wherever you are in your business right now, I think you're gonna find this really interesting. I'm actually personally a customer of some of Bastian and Wild Audience products and bought relationship funnel and stuff like that. And we are going to obviously dive into a little bit how relationship funnel is different than maybe a regular sales funnel and kind of the basics, and then hit the home running here. He's going to share some screen. He has some good stuff prepared for us. So with that being said, warm welcome, Bastian.
Thanks, Navid, for having me. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, tell us a little bit, before we kind of get into the screen share and stuff like that, tell me, what do you guys do over at Wild Audience, and what makes you guys, why should people listen to you when it comes to list building, email marketing, and, building a really engaged audience?
Yeah, for sure. So Wild Audience is pretty much known for two things. We're known for relationship funnels, which is what you use in your business as well, and respect-based marketing. That's why people become our clients, or companies become our clients, because they want to implement these things into their business. And the reason they want to implement them is because they want to acquire clients or customers at profit and at scale in an automated fashion. And on top of that, they try not to be too pushy and too salesy, but they actually want to use a respectful approach to actually establish a relationship first, install necessary buying beliefs, and then sell them, right? And for that, we have developed the relationship funnel, which is basically a customer acquisition process, and that's what we help our clients implement.
Yeah, for sure. And I was actually, I mean, as I said in the intro here, I bought Relationship Funnel. I think, I don't know, I don't remember exactly how I found you. I think I've known you for quite some time, even before kind of you guys blew up with what you're doing now. You have gone through kind of an evolution and, pushing out some really great content right now. And obviously you have, focusing more on high ticket businesses, which we are going to dive into. But I mean, you coined kind of this term of relationship funnel, right? I mean, there's maybe some people have done, slightly similar things, but I think what you have still a very fresh approach to this and, taking this thing or this concept to the next level. So can you talk about what a relationship funnel really is and maybe how it's different from kind of the regular sales funnel approach? And then we'll get into kind of today's session topic here.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I think it will be very understandable once I start sharing my screen and walk you guys through. But the main difference between a sales funnel and a relationship funnel is that a relationship funnel does not try to sell per se at the beginning, but instead tries to establish a relationship, hence the name, and then install buying beliefs and only then sell. Why? Because we believe that business is relationships between people, and we also believe that no one buys without beliefs, and that's why we do these two things first. First, we establish a relationship, we install beliefs, and then we get people to be ready, and then we sell them the service or the product, whatever it is. And that is the main difference between a relationship funnel and a sales funnel per se, because a sales funnel tries to get some people in, puts them through a sequence, and then tries to sell them at every touch point or every point. And that's the main difference, I would say.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, let's dive into kind of the screen share. And I mean, you have the, the big graphic and all this kind of stuff. I know you're going to share kind of inside of, a little bit active campaign and kind of what you're doing here. So yeah, dive into that and I'll ask any questions if I have that.
Cool. So yeah, today we're going to talk about the relationship funnel. This is pretty much the zoomed out graphic. I'm going to walk you guys through that and how it works and how it could apply to your business. But as well, I'm going to go through respect-based marketing. And this is basically standard marketing. This is not something new. It's basically thinking about how dating works, or making a friend offline, and then converting this process of making a new friend or falling in love into the online world. And then we just build a process around that. and that acts kind of like as the approach, the mechanism to put people into a funnel. It's basically combining human psychology with smart funnel automation, right? And what's really important is because the reason why we built this, and this looks a little bit wanky maybe at the beginning because it's quite a lot, but the reason why we would build this is because we want to acquire customers, right? And we want to acquire them at profit and at scale, right? So depending on where you are in your business journey, probably at the beginning of your journey, you do not need this. Right? At the beginning of your journey, you want to validate your offer, your product, your service. You want to get a few clients or customers in, right? And that's usually done through hustling, referrals, recommendation, outreach, outbound prospecting, right? You want to get your first customers in and clients in, and then serve them so that you can then get a client success case study. So that's really important. You want to have product market fit, meaning you want to be able to prove that what you offer is something that people want to pay you money for, right? And then you want to prove that you have helped someone and this person then got results, and you're able to write a client success case study about this business or a person, right? Or a video testimonial. This is important because then we can use this testimonial or success case study and build a funnel around this. Because a funnel like this is not here to acquire 1 or 2 customers here and there. It's about systematic customer acquisition, a profit, and here's the keyword, scale, okay? So that's kind of like the main difference. Does that make sense so far, Navid?
Yeah, absolutely. Just keep going. This is I'm sure we can put like so you can access this and download a little bit, higher quality.
Yeah.
You can't see everything, but I mean this is good. You can zoom in a little bit there, but it's really cool stuff actually. This is the updated version of it. I think when I first took the program, it wasn't as nice, but now now it looks a lot not nicer. Everything like has evolves over time.
We hired a designer, exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Cool. So basically, let's assume you have product market fit, meaning you have maybe a bunch of clients, you have made 100,000 in revenue already. Let's assume that, okay? And you're ready to hit the gas and scale things up, right? And for that, you want a sales funnel. And let's also assume you value having actually real relationships with your audience, with your email subscribers, with your potential customers, right? You really value that human connection and that relationship. And you truly believe that building a relationship or automating the process of building relationships will also accelerate growth, right? And revenue increase and profits increase. Okay, that's kind of like the base assumption here, that if you thinking or valuing this, you kind of like us, and we want to build businesses, long-term sustainable growing businesses based on relationships and human connection. Okay, so how do we do it? All right, so basically, if you think about it, usually we work with high-ticket companies, meaning they sell services or software or products of $2,000 or euros and north of that and beyond that. Okay, meaning in the end, if you want to sell something which is $2,000 and north of that, we usually need a phone conversation, a Zoom call, a Skype conversation, or an appointment, right? There is some sort of human touch. And what you want is, if you have these type of phone conversations, right? So this is my last week, for example. I do 6 calls per day. The team's one sales rep does 6 calls per day, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, right? So here you can see these calls. And I wanna make sure that all slots are booked, right? And I want to make sure that the people who show up to the call, that they are quality people, right? They have a lead score of a few $100, 100 points, right, or even 1,000 points, and they're ready to commit and purchase my stuff, right? And so how do we do that? Well, in order to get these let's go back here. In order to get these calls scheduled, I of course need leads, right? And the question now is, how do I get these leads? Okay, and I can show you real quick. In order to get these leads, we need to make sure that we have a consistent lead flow. Like every minute of the day, we want leads flowing in, right? That's important, right? Otherwise, we can't get these calls. Now the question is, how do we turn these leads into calls, right? And on top of that, as a business owner, I want to have an overview. Okay, I want to know. All right, so this is, for example, a month. This is our last month. And so we personally spent 18K, and we got 3,400 leads, and we spent 523 per lead. We got 87 calls. So these are the number of calls. And then we paid 210 per call, right? And now if I know my numbers, right? My number per lead, the cost to acquire a lead, the cost to acquire a call, and then let's say every third call converts into a client, I know my numbers, right? And let's say it costs me $500 or $800 to acquire a client, and a customer lifetime value is $5,000, right? I know that my customer lifetime value is higher than my cost per acquisition, and I'm happy to go to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and spend a lot of money because I know I make more, right? So now, what is this whole process? The process is basically, as I mentioned before, it's like dating, right? Let's think about your last date or making a friend, right? So if you remember, like the last time you went to a party or to a dinner invitation, and you had food with some friends, and there were some people you didn't know. Okay, let's say there's this one person, and you start talking to that person. Let's say his name is Max, right? And then I like surfing, right? So I'm going to say, hey Max, what's up? My name is Bastian. I saw you. Someone mentioned you like surfing. That's pretty cool. So I like surfing too, right? So basically, you asked, what are your hobbies, right? You figured out this person likes surfing, right? Now I'm going to say, I like surfing too. Right? You're going to personalize the conversation, and you guys are going to talk about surfing. This person will now feel, that's relevant. You know what? My last surf trip was in Australia. It was amazing, right? And I'm going to say, that's so cool. I went to Bali. It was really great too, right? And we're going to start engaging, asking questions back and forth. And in the end, maybe we're going to go surfing together. We become surf buds, right? And the same is true if you go and meet girls or guys and go date, right? You're not going to ask a person to marry you right in the first date. It's a step-by-step process. You need to establish a relationship. In order to establish a relationship, you need to get to know this person, right? And then you're gonna need to have a meaningful conversation, right? Exchange is happening. Authority or trust and relationship is established, and then you guys become friends. And the same is true when it comes to selling. But on top of that, this is really important. Can you guys see that? It says no one buys without belief. And this is really important. If you think about it, if you as a 6-year-old guy or girl, someone gave you an orange, the orange was 3 old, so you ate it, but it was so old that the taste was gone, and it was already bad, right? So you were like, oof, I don't like oranges. I tried it once with 7 years or 6 years, and it was horrible, this experience. So from now on, you don't like oranges, right? And so now if I'm an orange seller, someone who sells oranges, it will be really difficult now to sell you an orange because of that bad experience in the past. So if I'm a great salesperson, what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out that you had a bad experience and now have this false belief about oranges. And I need to break that false belief and reinstall new ones that oranges are actually really yummy, they're colorful, all great surfers eat oranges to win competition. And once you believe that, I can offer you my orange and the sale will be easy, right? And the same is true when it comes to selling your services or products. So you gotta ask yourself, who is my ideal client or customer? And then what are all his or her necessary buying beliefs he or she needs to believe before he or she can accept the desire or need of your product and service, okay? And basically, this is a list of beliefs. You got to write them down. You take a piece of paper and a pen. You write them down. Maybe it's 10 different, 12 different beliefs. And basically, then you need to build a funnel like this that maps the belief system of your ideal client. And when people enter here and then go through a journey, all the necessary buying beliefs are installed sequentially in the right order. And before down here in the conversion event, where you ask them to jump on a call, on a sales call, or on a webinar, or on a sales page, you want to make sure that all buying beliefs are already installed, so that then the conversion event itself is straightforward and pretty simple, right? Especially when you do sales calls. Okay, does this make sense so far?
Totally. I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier. I mean, what's the What's the prerequisite to kind of, I mean, you said a little bit, this is a little bit on the advanced side, obviously, to do this, but like, what kind of email list and what do you need in place before you implement, let's say, the relationship funnel and stuff like that? What would you say there to people who have, I guess, this objection?
Yes, that's a very good question. And basically it's three things. Okay, before you're going to build out a relationship funnel, every time you're going to ask, we work with a client and they want to build and implement a relationship funnel, we're going to ask them, hey, do you have product market fit? Do you know who your customer avatar is? Maybe it's four or six different types of avatars or personas, buying personas. And who is your most profitable one? Like, what's the lowest risk, right? Because maybe currently you are in a situation where you have an email list, and maybe most of your clients come in through referrals or word of mouth or SEO, whatever, but it's not very systematic, and you don't really control your sales, right? You cannot really forecast or predict your sales because you don't have a sustainable systematic process like we do here, right? So the first thing I would ask you is which customer avatar, which offer, and how do you position that offer to the avatar? Okay, because this is usually the main problem, that people build out this funnel, they spend a month to build this out, right, on their own, if they don't work with us, and they build it out on their own, and then they launch it, they maybe put an existing email list into the funnel or run some ads, and then it doesn't work, right? The funnel doesn't convert, right? And that's when you talk to a lot of people, it's like, oh, my funnel is not working. I don't know why, right? And there are two reasons only. Either the funnel is crap, okay? But this can be solved always in 2 to 3 iterations, meaning you launch it, you collect data, you iterate, you fix the problems. If it doesn't work out in 2 to 3 iterations, what the problem then is that you have a misalignment between avatar, offer, and how you position the offer to the avatar. These 3 things need to be aligned. So meaning this is the prerequisite, right? You're gonna know who you talk to and what you sell and how you position what you sell, right? If you know that and you have existing client success case study and you have a high ticket of 2,000 and north of that, you have a high chance of building this and then having, after 1 or 2 months, having a real sustainable and systematic growth engine for your business.
Awesome. All right, let's keep going with this. This is good.
Let's keep going. All right. So the relationship funnel has a few stages. Okay. We have the awareness stage down here, up here, sorry. So this is where we make people aware that you as a company exist, right? And then here is the relationship stage, which you can see here, right? And then that's, of course, where we establish a relationship. And then down here, we have the sales stage. That's where we ask for the sale and close deals, right? There is another 4th stage, which is the upsell stage, but this is only for people who are already customers and which you want to upsell or cross-sell to, right? But this is something which is a different type of game. We're not going to cover this now, but these are the 4 stages, and we're going to focus on the first 3 ones for now, okay? So starting with the awareness stage, okay? In the awareness stage, as I said before, we want to make people aware that we exist. We want to grab people's attention, right? So if you look at this diagram, number 1 is attention, right? It's about grabbing people's attention, but on the other hand, it's also about maintaining people's attention, right? Having some crazy headline, getting someone's attention is easy, but then keeping that attention, that's the difficult part, right? And of course, for that, in order to keep someone's attention and get them through the journey, we need to know who we talk to so that we can then personalize the conversation, that person will actually feel the conversation is relevant and will start engaging with us, right? That's how you keep the attention. Because if you grab someone's attention, then talk very generally, maybe with some random assumptions and very general to broad audience, people won't feel that this is for them. They won't feel it's relevant. They won't engage with you, and they will leave and they will go to someone else, right? And join someone else's email list, right? So that's very important. So if you have an email list and you talk to them, you want to maintain people's attention, right? So how do we do that? So at the beginning of the relationship funnel in the awareness stage, we need to acquire leads. And either you already have a great email list of 10,000 people or 2,000 people or 500 people, or you are in the process of building that email list. Regardless of if you already have an email list or not, you want to probably keep getting new leads, fresh leads in, right? And that can be done through ads, partnerships, social media, articles, SEO, recommendations, anything, events, right? But regardless of what type of lead source or lead generation type you do, what you want is you want to make sure that all the people who enter your world, meaning who enter your website and your funnel, are taken care of. You want to make sure that everyone who arrives in your world, trust is established, relationships is established, authority is established, beliefs are installed, and then they're getting sold. Everything as automated as possible, right? Here in high ticket funnel, so companies who sell 2,000 and north of that, which is high ticket, usually there is a phone conversation in the end, okay? And the phone conversation is the only non-automated event, right? Everything else up to the phone conversation is automated, okay? Now, let's go into it. So let's assume we run an ad, okay? We run a Facebook ad on Instagram and Facebook, and maybe it's a video ad, okay? So usually what I, for example, run is a video of this graphic, right? So take a video and take a screenshot and I run it. So what you guys can do is, if you have some sort of great graphic or mechanism or specific process you guys help other people with, or a mechanism or a step-by-step system, whatever it is, make sure to kind of like visualize it a little bit and then use QuickTime Player or whatever and record your screen and then have some great copy and then put it on Facebook ads and Instagram ads, right? That could be an ad. We use video because it works better. But it could also be writing a lot of articles and then, of course, using content upgrades on your articles to get people into your email list. So here, the key, of course, is to get them into the email list. Okay. If you use paid or articles, it doesn't really matter. You want to offer some sort of lead magnet, okay, which is basically a PDF. It could be an exported blog post or a 10-pager PDF. It's really important that you got to think about your customer avatar here, right? So the customer avatar is the person who you want to sell to, and when it comes to acquiring customers, what's important is the type of people who come in on top of the funnel. This is the top of the funnel, right? The beginning of the funnel. So the quality is more important than the quantity, right? So if you get, for example, here in our sales page, what our clients, what they want is 150 new contacts, right? So for example, we help our clients to get 160 new leads every single day, right? But that's cool, but it's not actually that important. What's important is that these 160 leads, fresh leads, are high quality people, right? How do you do that? Well, you got to think about the customer avatar and the awareness level, right? Are they problem aware, non-aware, solution aware? How aware are they, right? And what type of problem do they have? And then you got to create a lead magnet and define a hook. A hook could be a headline, it could be a big idea, it could be something that grabs their attention and ties into the awareness level of the avatar. And that is done by choosing the right lead magnet, the right title of the lead magnet, and the right graphic and the right copy inside the ad. A combination of the two allows you to get quality leads into your funnel. Okay, so for example, I know that 34% of the people who sign up for this PDF are a perfect client avatar for my business. Before I was running this campaign, I had a different campaign running, and it was only 17%. Okay, so I increased it by quite a lot by tweaking the copy, the creative, and the hook. Right, so that's how you tweak it. And the reason, and how do you know if you get quality people in or not? Well, that's done through the segmentation part, right? So you run an ad on Facebook, like I showed you here. So here's like you can pick any ad, and then let me put this away, and then we run them to a landing page. Okay, for us, it's how to solve customer acquisition profit at scale for high-ticket businesses, because that's the type of businesses we work with, right? So we tell a story here, we put some social proof up here, and then people can sign up, right, for the PDF. How to solve customer acquisition at profit and scale. This is also the PDF you guys can check out after this session, right? And when you sign up, you will see that I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm going to ask you about your current problem, right? And then I'm going to ask you what type of product you sell. And then the revenue part. This is important. and then your dream, your desire, right? And something else. And then I store this information inside of ActiveCampaign. So ActiveCampaign is the tool we use. It's like a CRM, but with automation capabilities. And you store the information like revenue, product, problem, goal. And now what I have is, I know the lead's problem, right? The current status quo, and I know the lead's desire or goal, right? Now I can build a funnel that bridges the gap between problem and desire, right? And the funnel's goal is to get them closer from problem to desire, right? And while the funnel gets people closer from problem to desire, you want to make sure that the relationship is established and the buying beliefs are installed, right? And that is done through emails, okay, and other methods. So I'm going to go through that in a second. So summary, right? Add to PDF. In order to sign up, they have to answer 3 to 5 questions. We store that information somewhere, and then we go directly into the profit funnel, right? And here in the profit funnel, we're going to send them around 7 emails and show them a few ad retargeting ads on Instagram, Google, YouTube, Facebook, and so on. And then send them, we follow the line, to the conversion event, which is part of the sales stage. And here, if it's a high ticket offer, meaning 2,000 and north of that, you probably want to send them to a sales page, which has a video on top, like some sort of headline, of course, and then a video on top, which is the VSL, the video sales letter, which is a 10-minute video which you want people to watch. This acts as the qualification, right? So the goal here, of course, is for people to watch the video and then read the story and then say, where is it? Here, apply to work with us, right? Which is basically an application. And then after people go through the application, they have to answer some questions. And after the application, they can schedule a call, right? If they qualify, right? So they have to answer questions, they go through the whole thing, right? And then they can schedule a call. That's what you want. And that's the part down here. If you sell high ticket, if you don't sell high ticket, meaning you sell something for $500, $50, $1,000, $1,500, probably an evergreen webinar is best for that, because the price is not that high, meaning you don't need a human to talk to that person. People will also buy without talking to a human, right? And for that, what we use for our clients are evergreen webinars, right? But it could also be a sales page with a video on top. It could also be a sales, just a text-based sales page. So depending on what you as a person, as a business owner, what you like most. If you're good at video, you're going to use a webinar maybe, and a video. If you're good at writing and telling stories, you're probably going to use a text page, right? Text-based.
Just one thing, Bastian. I think this is really good. I just want first. I mean, you showed obviously the lead bucketing thing, and I think you use Service Slam for that. I'm sure people are gonna ask otherwise. So can you go back to your site again, like to just show them like what happens when you click on that? That's actually a pretty neat tool. I think it's like a one-time payment or something, and that's works pretty well to integrate with ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, whatever you're using.
Exactly. So if you go to Wildlife Tools, you will see the tools we use in order to build this funnel. And as Navid mentioned, one of the tools which we use is called Service Slam. So Service Slam is spelled like this, Survey Slam, and it's very affordable and amazing. Where's the thing? And basically, it acts as a kind of like a lead opt-in thing. People can enter their first name and email address, as you can see here, but you also segment people, right? You ask them some questions, and then you can send the information directly into ActiveCampaign like I do, or Drip, or MailChimp, or Fusionsoft, whatever.
Fields, actually. These are just for everyone. So these are basically you create custom fields in ActiveCampaign, and that's how you set this up. I mean, it's a little more technical. Like, so if you're like brand new to this is like, again, this is more advanced stuff, right? Most people are not doing this. Even some advanced business are not. But this is like how you can actually get more information about your customers, right, or about your potential customers, and have it stored in an email provider like ActiveCampaign, or even to some extent ConvertKit can do some stuff, but ActiveCampaign is more advanced, obviously, with what it can do.
Exactly. And then here what you have is a customer, like a lead profile. You know the name, the profile picture is automatically added, social media stuff, and then custom fields. You can add as many as you want. As you can see, I have quite a lot. And then of course text, right? So you know how people come in. So this person came in through this guide. Then on the side you see the journey, right? How people go through a journey. And then of course how they kind of like the attribution side of things, right? How people purchase certain things, right? And what their touch points are. If you know UTM, so that here you can track them, attribute to sales, and so on, right? But as Navid said, it's a little bit more advanced. But yeah, Active Campaign is really great. If you're interested, you can just check it out at wildaudience.com/active campaign. But it's a great tool. But there are other tools like Navid mentioned, like ConvertKit or Drip or Infusionsoft or anything like that.
Yeah, I had one more question actually around the webinar side of things. I've seen like, I mean, could you use like a webinar or like an evergreen webinar to educate people and then basically have the call to action on the webinar would be to schedule a call? That could also be one alternative, right?
Exactly. So there, either you do the VSL thing like we do with the 10-minute video, 7-minute video, 12-minute video, 14-minute video, or you don't do the VSL and text-based, but you actually get them into a webinar. So to register for the webinar, it's evergreen, so it starts instantly or in the next 5 minutes. And basically, it's also a 20-minute webinar, which with a call which kind of pre-frames everything, makes sure all beliefs are installed, tells some stories, some social proof, and then the call to action is not to buy something, but instead to schedule a call with the sales team. Exactly. And to have a discovery call, a strategy call, or whatever it is that you.
I think I've seen like anywhere for like 20. You just have to do as long as it needs to be, but it's have some content. I mean, I do like anywhere from like 20 to 45 minutes typically. I've seen also Sam Ovens do something like this for some of his stuff, and you know, having a high ticket and basically just in time webinar, and then you get him on there, and then you get him on a call. That's basically, and obviously the follow. I mean, the fortune is in the follow up, right? So you have to really follow up with people too to get them to schedule the call and also show up to the call. But I'm sure you'll get into that a little bit.
Exactly. That's a good point. So I mean, in the dream situation, someone signs up on a Monday, sees the ad on a Monday, signs up for the PDF, and segments him or herself on a Monday, right? And then they go through a sequence of 7 emails, and then maybe on a Wednesday or Thursday they schedule a call by watching the video first, right? And then the purchase in the next week. That's a dream situation. Unfortunately, most of your deals or most of your revenue won't be made like this. The majority of ROI, return on an investment, is made long-term, talking 60 days, 90 days, half a year later, right? And that's where your email list comes in, right? So if you have an email list, what you want is you want to have an initial funnel. So people check out your website, they enter your website, they enter your world, and then you have an initial funnel of 2 weeks, right? Seven emails, 2 days between, right? Which looks like this, for example. People enter here, and then they go through here, right? And then basically, after these 2 weeks, if they don't not lost, and that's where the weekly content sequence comes in, right? And what we do here is basically we define a day in the week. We call it, for us at Wild Audience, Email Monday. So every Monday at 10 a.m. we send a newsletter email. Here's the thing though, it's not a normal newsletter, it's an evergreen newsletter, meaning if you publish a new email every Monday, you add it into a sequence, right? And if you do this every week, after a couple of months, you will end with a very long funnel. So for example, the funnel of Wild Audience is now over 2 years almost, right? Between 1 and 2 years. And that is because we have someone who writes emails and puts that email into the sequence, right? And so someone who then goes to the initial funnels of 4 to 7 emails and then doesn't buy, will get into the evergreen newsletter where we send them an email every single Monday, or you can maybe do it on a Wednesday or a Thursday, whenever you want. And then basically the email is like this. There's a body section where you tell a story, maybe some social proof, maybe a case study, maybe an article. And then in the PS section, we sell them to check out either the webinar or the VSL, right? And that's how you can get people to.
This is really good, by the way, for everyone watching or listening to this. Obviously, this is like, a lot of people, they struggle with consistency. I mean, this could solve that, right? You create a bank of emails and you're thinking about things in an evergreen way, right? So how can this work? Not just this Monday, whatever, April, 23rd or something, it still works like a year from now as well, in a few years from now even. And you can obviously tweak it as you go. It's in your email provider and your automation tool, but that's really good actually how you can do that. And that was actually,
Exactly.
you shared this with me actually. Do you also send it on opens within there, or how do you deal with that? Do you
Yes. So basically, you send it out every Monday,
Yeah.
and then you wait until Wednesday, for example, and check, did the person click or open, whatever it is that you want. So you can say, did the person open by Wednesday? And if not, you resend the same email one more time, right?
And that's all
And that's how
automated within that automation, right? In ActiveCampaign for
that's
emails.
all automated within that automation, right? And then
So
let's say
cool.
once a quarter, you can go back throughout all the emails and then see what the performance is, and then reorder them, right? So now you write them every Monday, and maybe you figured out email 4, 7, and 15 worked really well. So probably you want to put them at the top, right? So once a quarter, you then make sure you reorder the best ones and put them in the right order so that you get the best emails right up front. Okay.
Very interesting. Do you do any timed promotions by any chance? Like I'm talking like, okay, now we're sending out this, or is it only these kind of evergreen stuff that you kind of add them into a bank? So when people come in, they get this sequence. And obviously if you publish an email, let's say today, they're not going to get that today. They will get it like, a few weeks from now, for example, or a very long time from now.
Exactly. So the most important is that you have an asset mindset, meaning so everything you create when it comes to content, articles, blog posts, videos on for YouTube, think about it like an asset. How can serve this piece my company over the long haul, right? So that's the most important thing, because if you then pay an email copywriter to, you pay him $100 per email, then this may sound a lot, but if you think about it over a year, right, it's not much, right? So that's the first thing. But yes, so you want to create as much evergreen assets as possible, but then you want to mix it up with some promotional things. So we, for example, at Wild Audience, we do a promotion every single month, right? Or sometimes every second month, but usually every month. And basically what you can do there are many different things. Either you do the standard things, it's my birthday, it's Christmas, it's spring, or whatever, right? Or you want to bundle products, or you want to, you come up with some sort of reason to get people to buy, right? And that's usually a 3 to 4 email sequence, and it's only sent out to the people who are qualified. So not to the people who just signed up yesterday. You only send this promotion to the people who went through the initial process of relationship, trust, authority, and beliefs, right? And that's all happening in here. Once they're done with that, they will be added into the content sequence, and then you can add them into a promotional kind of calendar as well, right? And then here you can even segment down, like only the people who have clicked at least 3 emails, or all the people who have lead score at least 125, right? So you know what I mean? So there are different things you can do in order to combine promotional things with evergreen things, right? Or if you run a membership site, right, you can, for example, do once a month your membership has some sort of workshop, and then you can use that workshop. Let's say it's a 1-hour workshop, which is for free for all members. But then you offer this workshop as a paid workshop for $50, and you use that as a promotion to get new people into your membership, right? And that's the promotion.
Cool. I actually seen you do something like that. You had like a copywriting workshop or something. I think it was with your copywriter actually,
Yes.
and you sold that for, I don't know if it was $100 or $200 or something like that. And then obviously you get people in, and they might not be customer of, let's say, your relationship funnel or even your high ticket services, but they still become a customer. That's kind of the same concept we implement obviously with our virtual summits. We want people, to sign up for a virtual summit. It's free to sign up for, but then we instantly get a lot of people to turn into buyers as well. So it's a similar concept for sure.
Exactly. Yes. So that's super important. And awesome. I mean, for now we talked about the lead gen funnel up here, and we talked about the profit funnel in here, and we talked about the sales stage, which is the conversion event. These 2 things here, right? But we didn't talk about these things. We didn't really talk about these things and then these things. Okay. So what I think what I'm going to do a few minutes now is just explain real quick what this is all about. Okay. But just that you know, what we just talked about is kind of like the foundation, right? So if you think, wow, this is a lot of work, I'm not sure if this is worth it, just think about it. You need let's say you do PPC, you do ads. Okay. You need 1 video ad. You need 1 PDF, let's say 10 pages or 12 pages. You need 1 email sequence of 7 emails, and you need 1 sales page down here. So that's the minimal version of a funnel. Okay, so 3-4 pieces, not that crazy. Then once you have that, you add, right? You maybe add a retargeting sequence on Facebook and Instagram, meaning you can record 2 to 3 videos, each 1 minute long, and you teach something, and then the call to action is to schedule a call, right? So now people who enter, they get the emails, and these emails, by the way, are hyper-performance emails. These are not some standard emails. These are emails which have, there's lots of brain power behind it. We have to do the belief system, remember, then we have to map the belief system into each email. We need to think about where do we install email 1, where 2, where 3, where 5, right? What type of claims do we do? How do we back these claims up with proof? Each claim needs to have 2 proofs, right? What case studies do we use? What social proofs do we use in order to back up the claims and so on, right? We're going to use open loops, cliffhangers, nested loops, activation hooks, frequency selectors. There are many things we do in order to get people to micro invest. And maybe I use a lot of vocabulary which you don't know about right now, but that's kind of helping people to go through the sequence to then get them to say yes a few times before the schedule a call with us down here, so that you then have people to show up on the call who actually show up, right? Our show up rate is 82%, and who are quality people, meaning people who have been exposed to your website, to your content, to your mechanisms and methods and things you do, right? So the sale is straightforward. That's what this is all about, getting quality calls or quality webinar registrations or quality people onto your sales page, okay? So that's kind of like what
this is good stuff, man. I mean, as I said, I've been a fan of this process for a while, and like how, I mean, there's definitely work into it, and implementing stuff like that. But what kind of, that's why I wanted to get into something. What kind of results? Obviously, people always kind of weigh, is it worth the time to do this? So can you share any type of, what can people expect, obviously, when they go through something like this and implement this?
Yeah, so we have the love page for that, and usually a sales funnel conversion rate, if you know your own sales funnel conversion rate and you don't have a relationship funnel, probably your sales funnel conversion rate, if you use Facebook ads or PPC or something like that, is usually around 0.5%, maybe 0.8, maybe it's 1%, but that's usually where it stops. And the people who work with us, while the audience implement this funnel in 3 months, right? So we help them implement that in 3 months, and then after, they report back, and then we get people to, get conversion rates. Instead of having 0.5%, we have 8.66. Mirna made 9K in the second month of working with us, 9.48. We even have digital marketer as a client. People, these are like the open rates between 60 and 80%. This guy's making 50K this month. This person gets 76% click rates, and then this person increased click rates from 1.7% to all the way to 58%. This guy made 6.6K in 6 weeks, or 6 paying clients in 1 week, 6% conversion rate, right? So very open with all our numbers. So here, this guy, Adam, he broke down all his results throughout the whole funnel, 3.44, 18% conversion rate. He pays 300 per call, which is a really important information, right? So if you know how much you pay per call, you can scale things up. And if you know every third call turns into a client, then his customer acquisition cost is $900, right? And if his deal value is 300, like in this case, then this is a great ROI, right? Sure. Or Justin, he worked 0.5% before working with us, 2.5 after, right? Or this person making 30Ks after the 3 months. So there are lots of social proof. We worked with more than 200 companies last year. I mean, this stuff is not rocket science. Why? Because it's based on relationships, and business is relationships between people, right? And no one buys without beliefs. And now we just took this old approach, which has been around for forever, and just mirrored it onto an automated sales process, right? And then that's where you combine human psychology, the way people think, believe, and act, right? Emotional triggers and so on, and then you connect that and connect it with automation, right? That's why this thing is pretty cool.
And what I like also about the kind of relationship funnel approach is that it can be combined with a lot of other different things. Like whatever you are currently doing in your business can probably be implemented in some way so it fits within you. Obviously, it can be customized so it fits you. It's like different ways to do it, but a core of it is obviously what Bastian kind of went over here.
Exactly. So that's some good stuff. And then basically in the end, the more and more, or the advanced stuff then is, after you have your lead gen funnel sorted out, your profit funnel sorted out, and your conversion method, what you can then do is you add a front-end funnel up here, basically before you add them into the profit funnel, you want to pre-qualify potential buyers, get them to buy, a low price, high value product, like a tripwire or $10 or $20 or whatever it is. Right? That's the front end here, so they can make some of the ad spend which we use here for the Facebook ads and Instagram ads and Google ads. Right, this costs a lot of money. We want to get that ROI back as fast as possible. One way to do that is through a front end funnel. Right, so you make some money here, you pump it back into acquisition. Right, so you can increase the time it takes until you make your money back.
What's the price point you use for the front end funnel? Like
me personally, we use €12, and then of course there's upsell 1, upsell 2, right? And that increases the average order value.
What type of product is that? Is that a light version or like an ebook? What type of product is it?
So what you can do there is, for us, it's kind of like an online course, right? So we sell consulting for us personally. So we sell a €12 online course. And then the upsells are either could be a subscription to a software, could be an affiliate offer, it could be a book which you sell, it could be a membership, right? Many different things we have.
Yeah, awesome. I know you also pump out quite some articles, and they're strategic, right? So how does the articles fit in, or the guides and stuff like that you write fit in with the overall strategy with customer acquisition, Facebook ads, and everything you do? I mean, you maybe can show a little bit what you guys are doing on your blog too.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I mean up here
it is strategic, right? I mean, this stuff. I mean, I've seen what you are doing. You actually, I mean, I know we've done an interview before, but I mean, you have a pretty strategy with how you're putting this content out there. I mean, you see, if you can see here, obviously on the screen, he features also some big names, like Rand Fishkin is there, obviously writing about your own stuff. But like, break that down a little bit to people get how you should think about this stuff, if at least within the relationship funnel approach.
Yes. So this is here at the beginning is lead gen, right? So as we mentioned, you can do Facebook ads, PPC, but you can also use articles. But articles are not only to get people in, they're used throughout the whole funnel, right? So for example, if I interview the VP of sales or the CEO of HubSpot, right? Like I did here for this article, what I'm gonna do is someone in my team is gonna try to get this person to do an interview with me, right? And then I prepare the interview, which takes an hour of my time, and then I show up for the interview, which is another hour of my time, right? And then I do the interview, and then after that, I'm going to record a video, right? And then this video is probably a 10-minute video for YouTube. And then I have kind of like the foundation of everything I have, and then we're going to have someone who writes the article, which you find here. This is a 7K article. We're going to have someone who edits the video for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We're going to turn this into a podcast down here to publish it on our podcast, right? And then we're going to have many social media posts, right? Between 10 and 15 posts to promote this thing. Right, so that's kind of like how you as a business owner can make a lot, get a lot of leverage for your 2 hours of doing an interview, right? Yeah. And then once we have these pieces, we use them throughout the funnel. We use them. We have the blog post, let's say, to get SEO. Then we export the blog post as a PDF to run Facebook ads to it, right? And then people sign up. They go through the email sequence, and then remember, I have here also a video, right? And this video is a 12-minute video. I'm going to break it down to 3 parts, maybe 1 or 2 minutes or whatever. And then I'm going to use it for retargeting. Right? So this is one video. This is one video where I'm going to teach some stuff, establish a relationship, position myself as an authority, install buying beliefs, and then get them to schedule a call down there. Right? So, and then maybe they listen to a podcast. Right? So this is high leverage. And then I'm going to use it to put it into my evergreen newsletter, into my messenger bot sequence, into my social media, to stay in touch with my people, to keep installing these buying beliefs, to get them down to the conversion event, where they eventually will end up over time. Yeah. Right? Because the majority of ROI.
This is really good. And also, I think people even who's, let's say in my world and doing summits, you already doing interviews maybe with some people, and you could leverage stuff like that to just kind of, I mean, that's what we do. We multiply a lot of our content. We turn that into, for example, it can be in blog posts, can turn into like a 1-hour summit video, can turn into also, a 10-minute video, for example, to publish on YouTube and different social media outlets. I mean, you can implement this. I mean, you can also obviously just reach out like you guys are doing, or doing it for a podcast. But like if you have already done a lot of this stuff, then you have leverage already to implement some of these strategies Bastian is laying out here. So That's awesome.
Exactly. And then only the last piece to content in here is just thinking about the funnel again, right? Remember, there's top of the funnel, if I zoom out here a little bit, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. Each part of the funnel, top, middle, and bottom, requires a different type of content, right? So if you look here, this is top or middle of the funnel type of content, right? So for example, how to solve customer acquisition, profit, and scale. There's a middle of the funnel type of content, which is relevant for people who don't know me yet, but also relevant for people who already know me yet, right? So I'm going to use this for lead acquisition, but also to establish a relationship once someone is on my email list. This year, how our RF Accelerator helped our client close 20K in sales instantly, or how much does RF Accelerator cost? Is it worth the investment? Of course, content, which is bottom of the funnel, right? Bottom of the funnel over
and
here.
We are doing something similar actually for some of our stuff. We thinking about how we attract people, right? So some people, they might not even know what a virtual summit is. I mean, if I'm writing an article how to create a virtual summit or something like this, which we have an ultimate guide on my site on that, they're not gonna really maybe be interested. But let's say they know they need to build an email list and I have a guide on list building or something, that's gonna be more relevant to them maybe early on. And then when they know what a summit is or something, then they can keep reading, right? Or keep, we can keep educating them. And then eventually we might have case studies and stuff like that, bottom of the funnel. So yeah, definitely good stuff, man. Yeah, love this.
Exactly. Really, really important stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would summarize it pretty well. I guess the only last missing piece here for the people who kind of wonder, what is this piece down here? The break-even funnel is the type of funnel when you get people in here through an ad, some people will be ready for your core offer, right? But if you have multiple offers, one of the offer will be your core offer, and then you have maybe some introductory offers, some back-end offers, right? If you have some introductory offers, which are maybe lower priced than your core offer, and these people are not ready yet for your core offer. Meaning, for example, for me, in order to work with me, you need to make at least 10K a month, right? You need to have a 6-figure annual run rate, meaning you make at least 100K per year, right? If you don't do this yet, you cannot buy my core offer, right? But I want to offer something to these people as well. And that's where the break-even funnel comes in. So we have a membership, right? Which is lower price, of course, than our core offer. And it's for all the people, the majority of people who here in the segmentation segment themselves out, right? And they, of course, won't be added to the profit funnel, but instead to the break-even funnel. And they will see the evergreen webinar versus the people from the profit funnel will see the VSL, right? So that's the difference between a break-even funnel and a profit funnel and a front-end funnel.
Yeah, because obviously you're making the money in the back end or whatever from the high ticket. That's kind of where the most of your profit is ending up, right? Because that's kind of how that's what makes sense for Facebook ads.
Exactly. Otherwise, it won't work. And the people who go through the break-even funnel, the goal here is, of course, to not make to break even. It's usually you don't make money per se. You break even on your ad costs, and then some of the people who are already ready go directly into the profit funnel. That's where you're gonna make your money. And then people who go through your break-even funnel first, and then after some time, maybe 3 to 6 months, they're ready for your core offer, and then you guys upsell them here, and that's what Navid said is the back end.
Cool, man. This is good. I'm sure people will have some work with. Maybe we can go back to us now. We'll put a link to this as well here. We'll put a link so people can download this. You have some kind of a PDF or something people can check out as well here. And I mean, this is good. I'm sure people who are watching this, maybe you are not at this stage yet. That's okay. I mean, we are all starting from somewhere. But if you are at this stage, maybe you have even done a summit in my world, or you are thinking about doing some high ticket. This is a pretty good approach to get this in there. And this could all, I mean, as you said, this could be used even for courses, programs, membership sites as well. So whatever you're using, it's all about the relationship and installing the buying beliefs, and then you can get better open rates, clicks rates, and all of that you want, right? So yeah, Bastian, do you have any final words to share here kind of before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I guess the final words are really like 3 things, okay? So if you already think you know your avatar and your offer and your pricing and your positioning, do it again, okay? Because once you start building out a funnel and you're gonna start spending money to make money, the most important thing here is to make sure custom avatar, offer strategy, pricing strategy, position strategy are on point, okay? That's number 1. Number 2 is the key to scale at selling more, or selling, or having automated sales or increasing your revenue is literally by becoming really granular and understanding who you talk to, and then customizing your message in order to establish a relationship, right? And really don't underestimate, because really think about it. What is business? It is relationships between people. It has been like that for hundreds of years, and it will stay like that in the future. Okay, so just think about that, this old school never ending elements of business, and then combine them with the new school modern things of automating. And then the beauty here is you can automate relationship building. So if you go to our love page, wildardens.com/love, and then scroll down to the section where people say why they become our clients, you will see screenshots where people say like, look, Bastian, it's crazy. It seems like I know you. It seems like I have a relationship with you, but in reality, I just have a relationship with a machine. And that is true, right? People really start to become your friends, but you've never talked to them, right? And the reason why this is happening is because you have a well-oiled relationship funnel. And now imagine you have to jump on a sales call with these people. Imagine they have to check out a sales page, right? Imagine how easy this sales conversation now will be, because of all the things that are happening before you give your leads the opportunity to become your customer client. So double down on relationship building and installing beliefs, and you will see revenue numbers like you've never thought that was even possible. So that's kind of like the whole thing of relationship funnels.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Bastian, for coming on here. This has been pretty amazing. I mean, I'm always learning something, right? I even have relationship funnels, like I said in the beginning, but I know you guys are reiterating, you're improving on things, and always doing some cool stuff. And that's kind of, I highly suggest, like, even if you're not at this point of investing or whatever, working with them at some point, I mean, check out their blog, wildaudience.com. You can check out all of the stuff they are doing there. They sign up and go through some of their funnels. That's kind of sometimes the best way to learn, right? And see what they're doing.
That's the best way, like to sign up for the PDF. I'm sure there's a link somewhere, and it's basically the PDF of how to acquire customers at profit and scale. It's a summary of what I just talked about, or we talked about. It's a 77 pages PDF with screenshots and everything, the whole process outlined, and people even print this out and make put post-it notes, and I had some crazy sales calls where people go through the whole thing, and it basically gives you everything, right? And then once you sign up for this thing, see how everything unfolds, and you will see ads on Google, on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You get emails, bot messages, different things at the right frequency, and the goal here is, of course, to create a beautiful customer experience. And I think by reading this PDF and by seeing how it is in real life, you will learn a lot for your own business.
Yeah, absolutely. And also depending on what you choose there, and when you sign up to the lead magnet, the PDF that we link below, you're gonna see you get a little different messaging and stuff like that too. So that's really cool stuff. And obviously also post your biggest takeaway from Bastian's session in the comments below. He'll be engaging. I'll be checking there as well. So, was this eye-opening? Is this something you're considering implementing as well? Let me know in the comments below as well. So thanks so much, Bastian, for coming on here. It's a pleasure having you and sharing so much value with my audience here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Navid. It's always great to chat.